That's embarrassing. Nice, but embarrassing. I have a lot of people to thank, and I want to start, of course, with some of my best work, which is at the table over here. Two of my children are here, Jenny and Evan. And I want to thank them because, as most of you know, it's not easy to be children of journalists, especially journalists who happen to go all over the world and go to war zones, and they turn on the TV and the Today Show and they say that the NBC Bureau's been bombed, and they know their dad is in Iraq. That's kind of tough. So I want to thank them for their patience with me and for their support. My mother is also here from Los Angeles. My mother and my mother Eve and my father Jim. My father's passed away. Both grew up in East Los Angeles and went to Garfield High School, the famous school from East LA. They grew up as in working class families. They would never ever say they were poor, but they were. And they taught me the value of hard work from the time that I also was born in East Los Angeles so many years ago, as Diane wanted to point out. My father was a journalist. My father was the best journalist that I ever saw, and was the reason why I got in this business. And of course, he never saw. He died before I made it to the network, which was sad. But he did see me in Los Angeles, come back to LA, where he lived, and was able to see me as I was an anchor there at KNBC in Los Angeles and a reporter. That's where I met Maggie as well. And he was very proud, and I was equally proud of him, and he taught me about everything I know about journalism. Took me to newsrooms when I was 12, 13 years old. So I grew up in this business and have learned how important this business is. Watergate was mentioned before. That was my inspiration when I was a young reporter, and that was all happening. That's why I wanted to be a reporter, along with my father's heritage. And it really taught me at that very young age what reporters can do and what good, hard reporting can do. And I've tried to do that all of my career and tried to remember that, even when reporting on supercilious stories such as O.J. Simpson or Michael Jackson or anything like that, is to remember that there is some value in almost everything we're able to do. I also want to thank the people here at the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. They've always been supportive. As has been mentioned, I started in this business a while ago. Ray Suarez and I go back in Chicago a long time ago, where I first moved to the Midwest into a big market. I started in San Francisco, which is not bad, but my first big job was to go to Chicago and work at WBBM and WLS television stations, and that was the big time, and I was head over heels. But it was, when I look back at it, what's interesting to me when I look at this room full of Hispanic journalists is that how few of us there were at the time. When I first went from San Francisco to Chicago, I applied at WBBM, which was the #1 station at the time and was sort of the benchmark of all the local stations in the country, and I really wanted to work there. But they already had their Hispanic reporter. And no matter how good I was and no matter how much I wanted to be there, and they said, boy, we like your stuff, but, we already have our Hispanic reporter. His name is John Quinones, and he's here, and you can't come. So I applied at the ABC station, and WLS hired me there, and I thought that was cool because there already was a guy there named Freddie Villanueva who was a reporter and been there for years. I thought, oh, that's good. They're going to have two of us. So I got there, and about a week later, he was fired. So that's pretty much how it used to be. Even in, that wasn't that long ago, maybe 20 years ago. Today it is a pleasure to look around, not only in just this room, but in our rooms, in our newsrooms, to see somebody like Maggie broadcasting and anchoring a show as important as the morning news on CBS, to see Elizabeth Vargas anchoring 2020 and for a while even anchoring World News, to see Ray as a national correspondent for PBS. These are important things, and we've made great strides, and much of it is because of this organization. So I thank you for this, and I'm very proud of it. Thank you very much.